What exactly is love in the spiritual sense? Although it's often described in different ways, does it have an underlying characteristic by which it can be recognized? By which we can be sure that people are really talking about the same thing when they say love? Or does what is called love have a variety of characteristics, perhaps similar to when light reflects off of a prism? And what about awareness or consciousness? Are they the same thing as love? Are they a manifestation of love? Is love a manifestation of them? How can we really understand love in its fullest meaning? And would what we experience in the human dimension as love be the same if we existed as pure consciousness without a body and mind, without an instinctive and moving and intellectual and emotional center? Here's one take on this elusive topic. Envision a funnel that feeds into 4 channels or tubes, one tube for each of the 4 centers. And envision the rarefied elixir of pure awareness passing through the funnel and down into all 4 tubes. In this case, awareness is identified. So rather than simply flowing through the centers unimpeded, it attaches itself to them, and in doing so, it agitates their structure and their contents. For example, as identified awareness passes through the tube of the instinctive center, it creates tension, toxicity, physical nervousness, and anxiety. As it passes through the moving center, in identified fashion, it causes undue movement, haste, urgency, physical compulsiveness, and even an element of physical destructiveness. Similarly, as it passes through the intellectual center, it creates contradictions, confusion, doubt, opposition, a tendency to refute and argue, and an insistence on right versus wrong. And as identified awareness passes through the emotional center, it churns with excitement, zeal, overreactiveness, criticism, blame, accusation, and an acceleration of volatility, sometimes leading to anger and violence. In short, when awareness passes through, is funneled through the centers in the condition of being identified, the result is excessive movement in each center. And this excessive movement leads in each center to some form of conflict, turmoil, and even disease, not only within each center, but among all the centers. Now envision this same elixir of awareness being funneled through the centers in pure conscious form. And at a point where all the centers are themselves pure, untainted, transparent vessels that are exhibiting nothing more than their fundamental makeup. In this case, as pure awareness passes through the emotional center, it would be experienced by the emotional center as perceptions of wonder, tolerance, acceptance, empathy, appreciation, and gratitude. The emotional center would, in effect, become a lens for perceptions of beauty. And as pure awareness passed through an unadulterated intellectual center, it would be experienced by the intellectual center as perceptions of understanding about the connectedness of everything in harmonious relationship to a larger whole. Instead of everything appearing as fragmented and existing in contradistinction, the full puzzle would fit together in a grand view as truth. The moving center would experience something very similar as it was flooded with pure awareness. The moving center would know itself and the world around it in terms of fluidity, harmony, ease, grace, and tranquility. All would appear to be at its core and in the larger scheme of things, at peace. Similarly, for the instinctive center, instead of seeing a hostile, suspicious world that it needed to defend itself against, it would perceive from a place of calm, relaxation, and natural rest that it would experience as a feeling of bliss. Looking at all four centers together, when awareness is not identified, when it floods through them as its pure self, they are not limited to their normal sense of identity in feeling, thought, movement, and sensation as a person. Rather, they go beyond that, above that, as a combined perception of beauty, truth, peace, and bliss. Each of them may, of course, interpret their respective response to awareness as something called love. Yet together, the thing called love would be more than each of their experiences. It would include all of them, while also extending beyond all of them as a reflection of the single source they all emanated from. And the nature of that higher dimension of love would be unknowable to and unfathomable by the four centers. Like pure being, it could and would realize only itself as the source of what we normally feel in all its aspects as love.